The responsibility as a journalist is to tell the truth.
To ensure that there's scrutiny.
To act as the watchdog of society.
Giving a voice to the voiceless.
It's not comfortable, it's sometimes dangerous.
Affecting public opinion with information.
What's the reality of it? The raw, naked truth.
There has to be a place where citizens can turn to as a reliable tool to make decisions about their own lives.
As the world grows more complicated, as the problems that government deals with grow more complicated, and as the scope and range of government grows, the importance of a free press increases alongside that.
This is a mission, this is a passion, this is a commitment, this is a life. It's not just a job, it's a life.
Journalism has always had an extraordinarily varied population of practitioners. Bloggers think of themselves as journalists. There are so many different forms coming at us every day.
Today, a newspaper is only partially printed material. It is on the web, it's on the phone, it's on tablets.
Blogs allowed all kinds of people to become journalists of a sort or writers of a sort in a way that would not have been possible before. But they're occupying a different niche.
They don't need to rely on an advertising system or a newspaper or a broadcast system to get the word out.
You know, what does it do to an event when you have so many people with so many different perspectives all arriving at it literally at the same time?
The conception of what a story is changed from being a finite, defined piece of text to an organic, living thing.
It's much more important to get people to think about what it means to be a journalist than to just hammer rules into people's heads, because the rules will change.
I don't think you're ever going to get everyone working for the same set of values. You try to develop a core set of values for journalism, and schools are the cathedrals of doing that.
It is about holding people accountable. It's about learning to be a strong writer, a strong reporter, a good storyteller, being a little bit bold maybe, fearless.
Something is going on behind the scenes. It needs to be explored. Digging deeper and asking every question and make sure it's answered.
Our students, they go out there and they raise hell.
You get to start practicing it the first day that you get here. We say, start interviewing people, start reporting the very first day of class.
Really be part of the communities that you're reporting on. If you're not out and you're not in it, then you're only going to get a peripheral story.
And if you've been told a journalist is supposed to be objective, forget that. Human beings are subjective.
We're all part of a nation, part of a community. We all walk around with a certain set of assumptions and a certain self-interest. It's inevitable.
Being fair, being a real honest broker of information means that you can correct for your own natural biases.
But what fairness doesn't mean is that you treat all views, including views that are demonstrably wrong, as equivalent in value. You're not there just as a stenographer to the powerful.
You have to think of how a person is going to look at the portrait of themselves that you're giving a reader or a viewer or a listener. Will they recognize themselves or not?
When I was out in the Korangal in Afghanistan, the guys I was with, they were having this experience out there of combat. They weren't processing it very well. They were confused by the ways it traumatized them, and they were confused by the fact that they loved it. And one of them came up to me later and said, "You explained us to ourselves." I mean, what's journalism? We're explaining the world to itself.
The role of journalism, it's to explain things. It's to tell people how things work.
Enveloping it in a story, a narrative that allows the general population to understand what's going on.
Shine a light on stories that no one is looking at. Give a different perspective.
To make sure that people are not being shut down, that people are free to speak their minds.
Fundamentally change somebody's understanding of something.
Change people's mind about something.
If there's a great injustice, what can you do except make it a part of history?